let's just like kind of start back from the beginning of like the intro chunk and call that a rehearsal, shall we?
Yeah, no, that's good.
Okay, sweet. Then this will work great for an actual intro blurb. So you know it isn't hot like a hot potato. It's the Halcyon Frequency Podcast, and this is a special episode where we're going to be discussing the Hot Potato Charity Event, which is an annual event that Halcyon Frequency in part with Suwey, who's joining me on this episode. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
We put this event on every year. It's towards the end of November, but Suwey will elaborate on that a little bit, as well as who our guest for this episode is. So I just, before we actually dive in, to the recorded interview that we did with our guest, which we've already recorded. We're just going to kind of talk a little bit about what the Halcyon Hot Potato Charity Marathon is, and who we are raising money for, which is Doctors Without Borders, and why we're raising money for them, and kind of our achievements in the past years, and kind of what we hope for from this event. So, Suwey, now is your chance to take the floor and talk a little bit about the Hot Potato Charity Event as an event, and then we'll talk about who we're raising money for afterwards.
Alrighty, so the Halcyon Frequency Rimworld Hot Potato Charity Event is a charity event where 30 plus streamers raise money for Doctors Without Borders, and we do this in like November near US Thanksgiving. That's the fourth Thursday of the month of November, and we work to raise money, and it usually runs for about 120 hours straight, which is 5 days, and we pass a Rimworld save file back and forth, and this is a marathon relay event, meaning it runs for that full 5 days straight, and each person moves the save file from one person to the next, hence relay.
So I, years ago, like back when the first one of these happened, when the first big charity event happened, I was a participant. Little old me, blind here. Because I don't think I introduced myself at the top, but that's fine. And over the years, eventually Halcyon Frequency became a thing, and, we recruited you, Suwey, partially because of your involvement with this event and managing this event. And then the last year and now this year, and was it the year before as well? Geez, time flies. But the past 2 years, as we've kind of worked to run this event as a group, and it's always something that I think that we kind of look forward to every year, because it's just, we get an excuse to watch Rimworld for a week, but also we get to watch a lot of money raised for Doctors Without Borders. So I just want to ask you, Suwey, to talk a little bit about who we're raising money for, and then also who we're going to be talking to on this special episode of this podcast.
Yes, so for this charity event, we are raising money for Doctors Without Borders, which they do a lot of humanitarian aid and relief throughout the entire world. So this is an international organization that seeks to make sure that people can receive medical care and anything they need as a person to survive. So they're always there for any kind of crisis that happens. They, when the pandemic hit, they were doing a lot of work to help with that as well. And we are going to be talking with my person that I've been in contact with while I've been running the event, Greta. And I think you guys will really enjoy getting to know them.
Yeah, it's a great little talk, and it's kind of neat because we learned that they this was one of the first events that they actually worked with after becoming a part of MSF, which is talked about in the upcoming interview, and it's kind of humbling, at least from my perspective, because it's just some of these charity or organizations from the perspective of streamers are just these kind of monolithic massive organizations. It's what can we really do to help? Because but it turns out the little event that has had kind of a major impact. So I hope that everybody here listening to this podcast enjoys the upcoming interview. And with that, we'll dive over to a quick break of music, and then when we return, the interview will begin. Enjoy.
My name is Greta Doucette. My pronouns are they, them. I have been working with MSF for about 4.5 years, and I'm a big video gamer myself. I've been doing that since I was a kid, and I'm super excited to be here talking with y'all today.
That's really cool. Wait, That means that you joined, like, I reached out to you about the hot potato like shortly after you joined then.
Yeah, no, it's true. I've been here since the initiation of it. It's really cool.
That is cool.
So you've been able to see like multiple years of like the kind of event growing.
Yeah, exactly.
As time has kind of gone on.
Exactly.
So if I could ask, like, what is your role at MSF? Like, what since you've joined, and obviously, like, you're not just a person who works with us on the hot potato. So, like, what kind of things do you do in the day to day at MSF?
Yeah. So my like official title is digital marketing associate and it's for peer-to-peer and streaming programs. So I'm really, every day I'm working with individuals who are doing fundraisers for us. That's streaming, and also, you can imagine like endurance events. So like if somebody wants to run a 5K or does a bake sale or a birthday fundraiser. So I'm working with people a lot one-on-one to set up fundraising events and things like, like hot potato. I'm in Discord a lot for our streaming program. I'm on Twitter, and I'm really trying to like interact with people on a day-to-day basis a lot.
Well, it's always lovely to kind of get to talk to somebody who's like a representative of like these bigger charities that like we just see just kind of, because on our end it's like they're largely images just kind of popping up on a billboard, essentially just saying, hey, fundraise for this, fundraise for this. But it's lovely to just get the opportunity to sit down and speak with somebody directly from MSF, because this isn't something I get to do very frequently. I know you and Suwey are in relatively frequent contact, but what kind of impact has like the hot potato and streaming in general had on MSF?
It's like you said, first of all, like being able to have these one-on-one relationships, it's so important, and it's really has been so impactful with streaming specifically, building relationships with people and getting to see people's passion about Doctors Without Borders, and their passion with whatever thing they're streaming or gaming, and kind of the connection between those things. So it's really amazing to like have that and see that within our organization. And our program is really, our streaming and peer-to-peer program really has grown kind of like how we're engaging with new audiences, new donors, new fundraisers. There's a certain demographic on Twitch and people viewing it. It's, usually younger than our standard demographic that donates to Doctors Without Borders. And so being able to kind of interact with younger people is really incredible. And we can do more international fundraisers, where there's people from all over the world doing hot potato, and we're able to kind of connect with more people in that way. That's one of my favorite parts too. And actually, so I was doing some math about hot potato specifically. So over the last, 3 years, it's raised, the exact number is $172,864.04. And first of all, that's so wild. And I was like crunching some other numbers, and it's grown like 315% since the beginning. Like in terms of how much has been raised for Doctors Without Borders, which is just like, it's massive. And just to share like that impact, on MSF, it's equivalent for us to buy 5,762 ready-to-use therapeutic foods, which is something that's used in the field to help provide nutrition to children across all of our projects. And kind of in the beginning, Siri, you said, I've been here since the initiation with you, and seeing you grow and you come back year over year, and what you're putting into it, and how we've gotten better at like working together and growing our relationship, I think it's really set a standard in my eyes to what we want out of this program, like, and how we want to build it. I really think about this event in a way, and as like setting up what I want to do with everybody. It's really amazing.
Yeah, it's really nice that we have like this set thing that we do, because like I just go back every year. Like, we don't have to communicate back and forth a ton. We just go, all right, it's happening again. Here's the TLDR of it, like I don't have to, go in depth or like ask you what you're able to do or anything, because I already have an idea, and it's really nice.
I like look forward to getting your emails every year and like or like your DMs and stuff. And I actually like throughout the year will use this event as an example for like showcasing what our streaming program can do. No, seriously, I like brag about this event all the time.
I mean, that's kind of amazing that it's almost become kind of the poster child for you in some ways, because like the first year that the Hot Potato happened, I was just a participant, and then over the years, like things have just kind of, you know, Suwey kind of joined a group that I started with a friend of mine, and it's just become a group event that we run now, and it's been kind of phenomenal to just watch it grow and see it just balloon into, like, we were the little group that could initially, you know.
Oh yeah.
But it's turned into kind of a big event now, which has been really exciting to watch. So just because, like, you know, the event has been fun and exciting, do you have a favorite moment from the events that have happened in years past?
I mean, honestly, you know, like some of my favorite stuff really is like coordinating with everybody and getting to know people. I think like truly like the relationship building with you, Suwey, has been one of my favorite things. And also learning more about Rimworld. I, you know, had heard about it for a while, but I hadn't ever played it. And I actually started kind of like doing some gameplay watches. Once Hot Potato kind of came around for MSF, and I can say, I think like the way I like to describe it or think about it is like a beautifully chaotic game.
Yeah, that's great. Another thing I'd like to note, I have had to message Greta multiple times asking if certain mechanics in the game are okay. Like you can get prisoners in it. I'm like,
Yeah, no, it's isn't that something that's so wild about the game is like there are so many pieces to it. You can do so many things with it. And then not only that, like the actual gameplay, but the mods. Like I play Stardew Valley and I play a lot of Stardew Valley, and you know, I thought that had a lot of mods, and then I came in and kind of looked at Rimworld, and it's like no matter who I'm watching or where I'm going or looking at any gameplay, it's like different every single time in the style that people play it too.
hmm.
It's that kind of just monolithic number of mods that just make games kind of infinitely replayable, which is one of the reasons it's stuck around so long.
It's why it's a great game.
There's also a lot of RNG involved, and it like greatly impacts the story, right? So like you're never gonna get the same story even if you run the same exact thing, which, you know, is great for this event because it just means that even if we run the same scenario over and over, there's gonna be unique things that happen every year.
So you did mention other games that you've played in the past. What are some games that you like to play? I know you mentioned Stardew Valley, I think, but do you have any favorites from the past few years?
Yeah, so I have a handful. I mean, Stardew Valley has just been like, you know, my tried and true, and I've, you know, had like 10 iterations and then like played it with other people and had shared farms. But you know, lately Cult of the Lamb came out pretty recently, and I got really into that, and I've had a lot of fun with it. There's actually a game called Ooblets that's a lot more recent, and you kind of have, you know, collect these little ooblets and have dance battles to collect more, and it's super cute and super fun. And Animal Crossing 2, I've been playing that since GameCube. I mean, since I was a kid, that was like, I'm hardcore behind the GameCube version being my favorite. And then, of course, like I played Hades a lot, and the new Kirby game. And I've been really just like trying a lot of different things lately. Yeah, I've just been video gaming. I video game a lot in my free time, but those are just a few that I've been playing lately.
The Switch is just such a awesome little window into so many different facets of games as well. Like there's so much variety on that platform now.
Sounds like we both kind of go towards cute graphics. I'm getting those vibes.
That's like, send me a game with a cute graphic and I'll be there. I'll be playing it.
Same.
It's like games with cute graphics and then Hades, where everybody's attractive.
I know. And like the gameplay is just so good in that. Like, oh, it's so fun.
I like the music in Hades. Big fan.
Yes, yes.
So I know that you said that you've watched some Rimworld. And like Suwey kind of mentioned the thing earlier where she said that like we've had to ask if like certain mechanics are okay. I do actually get curious about this because like Rimworld it's a beautifully chaotic nightmare of mechanics that allow you to do some incredibly cool things and some incredibly horrible things. So like, is there kind of a point where Rimworld just kind of like works until it doesn't for MSF kind of fundraising? Like, is there some points where we've just kind of done a thing where it's just like, behave yourself, guys?
That's actually a really good question. So like in our program, we built out some guidelines for streaming and like what you can and can't do, basically. And our guidelines follow pretty much what Twitch follows. So, we wanted to meet streamers and content creators where they are, and we realized like video games there's so many different kinds and they do a lot of different things, and so there hasn't been a moment where it's like, be careful, because we built in those guidelines where it just follows Twitch, and as long as everybody's doing that, which everybody does and has in the past, and so it's been totally fine. Yeah.
I know I make the event a little more strict even than like the MSF guidelines are, because like I know we've talked yeah, I'm always just like, guys, remember you're gonna like there's people from different communities like coming over to your stream. You gotta be family friendly and all this, and like you guys don't say, oh, you have to be family friendly. That's my thing.
Yeah, I mean, we like super appreciate that because sometimes it's just people want to keep streaming and doing exactly like what they do every day when they're streaming, and that's totally fine. Again, we want to meet you where you are, but having it be family friendly and kind of making sure there's some other guidelines set in place by you and by the other streamers is really wonderful. It shows that you just like really care and like want this to be seen by so many people, and it's we'll take clips of things and we can like share them around with all of MSF, and it's really cool to like see people's reactions and stuff to that too. Everybody's always super interested in this. I seriously just like every time it comes around, I'm like, everybody look, like here's the dates.
I think that my last question kind of wraps quite nicely into like the last subject we have here, which is, do you have any tips or tricks for charity streams? Like people trying to get started and that want to fundraise for Doctors Without Borders.
Yeah, of course. So I mentioned kind of like, this event is, like you said, the poster child for what I see a lot of events doing, streaming events in our program. And I think, what sets you apart from so many people is like you start planning really early. And I think that's so important. And by starting planning early, you can promote to your community, to whoever's communities. You can, it's kind of like, I think the rule of thumb is 3 touch points, and it'll get people to kind of like remember what's happening, remember the event. So it's like, the first time is just, oh, here's a tweet, we're going to have this upcoming. And then the second time is reminding them, they're like, oh yeah, okay, I remember seeing this before. And the third time is like, oh yeah, let me like put this in my calendar and remember to come. So I think, starting early with that really helps it, so you'll have your community there. And I think one of the big things too is like share why you chose to stream for the charity, why you chose to stream for Doctors Without Borders. What's your personal connection to it? It's really just like talking about your passion. And I think that really energizes your communities. And it's just such a beautiful thing to watch that as well. And of course, if, starting early, you can contact myself. You can contact us on Twitter. You can contact us on Discord, and you can reach out if you need resources or have any questions, and that allows us to help you in any way you need to. So just like our Twitter is just MSF USA streaming, And our Discord link is on there too. And I'm, on Discord and Twitter and ready to help anybody.
That's fantastic. And like, I've done a number of charity streams in the past, like for various different charities, and it's always kind of a little bit overwhelming, I think, from the streamer's perspective, especially if you don't have like a group or an organized event like this, where it's just like, do I just like turn things on and just start streaming, or do I like try and contact somebody? Like, is there like anything that I should do on like my end? Because like, it's just kind of ambiguous, right? Like there's several different services and opportunities and places where you can like definitely throw resources and like get assistance, but like, is that something that I need to do? Like there's a lot of questions, I think, from the streamer's perspective, especially people that are like just getting started with charity fundraising. And like the last 2 years have been tumultuous, and a lot of people have started streaming in the last 2 years, so there's actually kind of some new faces in the Hot Potato this year. There's new people, and like for a lot of the people in the Hot Potato, this is the only charity event that they do, and it's so like just from that perspective, it's like, for some people, this is their first and only charity event. For some people, they've gone on to do other charity things after just doing the Hot Potato. I mean, I have just a charity fundraiser running in the background concurrently almost all the time these days. And it's nice to see, people getting together, playing weird video games and raising money for a good cause, I say.
I'm very passionate about that. That's why I do what I do and why I love what I do. And I think it's just really wonderful to see groups like this and individuals out there wanting to raise money while having fun and helping charities.
For sure. Suwey, do you have any closing thoughts you'd like to say?
Guys, the Hot Potato is going to happen, and I'm super excited. So it should be a good time. And yeah, it's been lovely working with MSF. Highly recommend fundraising for them if you are a streamer and you want to figure out who to fundraise for. Because talking with Greta has been lovely. They've been like super responsive and have helped me out with a lot of stuff. So. And
Greta, do you have anything specifically you want to point people towards before we close out this podcast?
Again, I'll just say our Twitter account is the MSF USA Streaming, and if we have our Discord link right there in our bio, and if you want to come and join us on Discord, say hi, ask any questions. We love to learn more about you and what you want to do, and then also share more about Doctors Without Borders.
And that is fantastic. And this is the Halcyon Frequency Podcast, hosting the Hot Potato. And we hope to see you all week for all of the events. If you're listening to this right when it goes up, it's coming up. We're getting real close. And if you're listening to this in post, maybe check your calendar for November next year, because we'll probably be back. This is Halcyon Frequency. Don't change that dial. Until next week, signing out.